Oh, good morning from the American River. Downstream, look at Sacramento. Upstream on the way to the Sierras. I spent a couple days in Sacramento. Got out just in time for the rain tomorrow. They had, I think, a foot of snow up the Sierras when I was there. And I think they got another 6 inches coming. And maybe another 10 inches when I get up there. So, perfect timing, right? But I didn't want to stay 3 more days in Sacramento. I spent 2 days there. So, looks like a nice trail for the next few days. This will take us on up to Auburn. And then from Auburn, instead of cutting straight through to Forest Hill on Forest Hill Road and then up and over near Squaw Valley, going to take an alternate route. For the most part, staying pretty close to Interstate 80 on roads that I think pretty much been plowed, although I've got a few dirt roads picked out, so we'll see how that goes. If it's too deep in the snow, then a bunch of road walking and add a couple extra days. So we're basically going to turn right here, go north, and then on up. So it was a pretty nice place in Sacramento I stayed at. It was a hostel, another hostel. An old mansion from 1885, I think it was. And it wasn't very full. In fact, in a 10-bed dorm room, I had the whole place to myself except for one night. No, 2 nights. And then it was only just one other guy. So, but then from there, just walked the streets through East Sacramento until I got to Cal State Sacramento here, and then got here on the American River, and then up we go. Gonna find a stealth spot tonight. I saw a spot over on the satellite maps. Looks like there's a homeless camp there. See if it's still there. If it is, I'll pick another spot. If not, then I guess that's where I'm spending home tonight. This American River Trail is very pretty. I'm very impressed. And you wouldn't notice, you wouldn't know that you basically got suburbia and development over here, and suburbia and development over there. If it weren't for the, I don't know if you can hear it, the background noise of the traffic and everything. Other than that, you just think you're in a whole different world here. Pretty view, huh? Which way is up? Which way is down? American River there. Actually making pretty good mileage, I think. Well, yeah, making pretty good mileage. I've already done half my miles, and it's even with a late start. I left at almost 10 o'clock. Even with a late start, it's only 2 o'clock. So I might go a couple miles further. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's probably just because of the prettiness of this trail here. So here's the American River at El Manto Rapids. Looking northwesterly, if the clouds weren't there, we could see the Sierras in the distance. And this is an interesting spot here. So the river comes down here and makes a U-turn. As it does, the rapids pick up a little bit and eat into the bank of the river. Right there, as you can see. So the river makes a U-turn here, and then just right over there makes another U-turn, and continuing on down to Sacramento. Evidently the river also, I don't think you can really see it, right there, right, right there. The river also cut a little streamlet and created this little island, and then later on, prospectors started digging for gold there, and got the tailings up there, and which made a little cutoff. So now there's just a little pond there instead of a little streamlet going through. But this has been a really nice hike today. And then there's the goal right up there. You can see that's Sunrise Boulevard, I think. So somewhere in all this stuff, I think we're going to camp tonight, unless I feel a little bit more energetic and decide to go another mile or two. But I think another mile or two, there's not really any place to camp. So I think we're going to cut it out early here. Howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hi, pup. And just camp in the trees here somewhere. And hopefully it doesn't rain tonight. Good morning. You know, there's there's kind of a satisfaction about being in a spot that's so close to everyone, and yet no one knows you're here. So I'm in this spot that I found last night underneath this little oak tree, and the trail is about 50 yards back that way. But I was here all by myself. Nobody knew I was here, yet I was so close. Had deer roaming around last night and this morning. And I told you about those camps where people, I think, were using them. I was looking for them, that they were using them as kind of long-term stuff. There's one down there. And there are also others in the area, but they're just all full of trash. I mean, it looks like they all bugged out just like that. But they're all full of trash or in low-lying areas. So I found this thing up here on the rock pile, little divot. So nice and cozy. And now, got to get out of my coziness instead of staying here till 10 o'clock. It's it's almost 8. So let's get a move on. Can you hear that? I'm getting into civilization here again. Had to get off the trail, go into the store, pick up some supplies. It's kind of a shock. All right, got my shopping done. Stopped at the laundromat real quick just to pop the sleep bag in for 10 minutes. I'm here in Folsom, California. Does that name ring a bell? These are nice little houses, or maybe I should say nice big houses. I was at the corner of Scott and Mormon Street. Now I'm at the corner of Scott and Figueroa in Folsom, California. Oh, and by the way, the prison, or the old prison, is just right up there. Good morning from the cocoon. I had to set this thing up in the rain last night. In fact, I was walking through the rain all day yesterday, most of the day yesterday. But I've been here 13 hours. The rain's finally stopped. Yep. So, and also a successful experiment. I put the tent up backwards, the tarp first, and then the tent itself, so it didn't get wet inside here. But it's time to go, and the only thing that's makes going kind of a bummer thing is that I got to put on wet socks and wet shoes. Yep. All right, so let's get a move on. All right, now to find exactly where the trail was. I came off trail to Stealth Camp. I think it's over here. Okay, second breakfast break. I also thought it would be a good place to, not only because of the view, but because of the sun, which just went away, dry out the tent. Hope it holds. The tent actually does well. It keeps water out. It's just, putting it away, it's just all wet. The fly is all wet, and then the bottom is all wet too, but the inside stays dry. But that extra water is, it's about an extra pound of water. That's an extra pound of water. But good time for a second breakfast. What's for breakfast? Well, I got some pineapple, and we got some salami, some salami, tortillas, Parmesan cheese, man, all the works. All right, say goodbye to the good view. I'm getting chased out of here because it's raining. I got the stuff sort of dry, but that's what it is, right? And speaking of that's what it is, I've been actually even thinking about how I haven't even been thinking on this walk. No philosophical thoughts. As you may recall, on the other two walks, I had a plethora of them by now. No songs. Just, it's really interesting that my mind has really turned off, and I mean, it's not really thinking of anything except just where I am, which is what I've always done in the others, but I've always had the other stuff going on in the background. The walk itself, it still is a joy. I mean, it's not like a trudge or anything. It's still very enjoyable. But it's just one of those, I think, I've been kind of practicing being in the presence of God. So maybe that's what it is, that quiet presence. Who knows? Well, there's a pretty sight, isn't it? It's all part of the dammed up American River. I think it's called Lake Natoma. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I just know it's pretty. And it's 4:30. I think I got about 5 miles to go. Maybe 6. Because of that late start this morning from the rain, I didn't get out till about 10:30. And in that second breakfast, I stopped for an hour. And then a little bit later on, I stopped for another hour talking to somebody. So, but anyway, it's nice, nice way to end the day with clear skies. I think it's supposed to rain a little bit tonight, but in the morning it should be dry. So let's see if we get in before dark. Oh, and by the way, so I don't look like a total dope, it's actually Folsom Lake. Folsom Lake, Folsom Lake, Folsom Lake. Today's hike reminds me a little bit about like the first walk across America when I was on the was it Beamer Trail, Tanner Trail, whatever that trail was, going up to the confluence with the Little Colorado River. When you look at it on the map, yeah, it's not too bad. So for instance, on the first walk, I think it was only 9 miles, but it went in and out and in and out and up and down of those little side canyons. And on today's hike, it's just basically following the shore of the lake going in and out and in and out and in and out. So that second breakfast it's kind of doing me in here because, as you can see, maybe not, starting to get long shadows. I think I still have an hour to go, so it's going to be a race between me and the sunset. But the one thing is, I think there's full moon, pretty bright moon actually, not a full moon. So if the cloud cover stays clear, then guess we'll set up in the moonlight. All right, we're back to the flowing American River. Who's gonna win? Well, an early start. Why? Because it's Sunday. Got to get into town, get to church, do my duty. Sprinkled a little bit this morning, but it looks like it's trying to break through. Goal today is get into Auburn, reef supply for a day, and then go beyond Auburn about 12 miles. And just there's a random piece of land that I've identified that looks like it'll be okay for a stealth camp. And then tomorrow into and through Colfax, and after that I think we might be getting into the snow. We'll see what happens. All right, well, got all my chores done, so it's on to I'm passing through Auburn here, and oh, look at this. I don't know, you might remember these from a year or so ago. I did a video on these when I was passing through in the van in the ambulance. This is a local artist who did these. And the short story is that, as you can see, they're unclothed. But the short story is that the school bus used to go through here. And after these things were erected, they changed the school bus route. I think that was the story. But anyway, I guess these are one of the claims to fame of the city of Auburn. I'll put a link down below so you can see that video. Gotta make sure I obey the speed limit here. All right, interstate, what interstate is this? 80. That's looking out towards San Francisco eventually. And that's looking east up to Lake Tahoe, and then down across where it goes after that. Donder Pass, that's right. And then Reno. This almost reminds me of the first walk. Here we go again. First walk when on the first part of the trip, I was paralleling or crossing Interstate 10 quite a bit during that second week, and I'll be doing this on up to Donner Pass and then Truckee because of the snow. I had to pick out some roads here to just basically parallel it. So I guess I'm going to be having a lot of road noise the next week or so. That looks refreshing. That's what I signed up for. What creek is that, you ask? I don't know. You know something, even though I've been walking next to the freeway here, it's still a pretty area, especially if you tune out the traffic, or if you define it as a river rushing or something. Well, here's something interesting right here. I've only got about, 5,500, 6,000 feet elevation to go over the next 5 days. Yeah. Let's see, 5 days? 6 days. 5 days. You can tell my mind's really not even thinking about anything. I've just completely turned my mind off, you know, it's really weird. Just march along without any thoughts. Huh. Well, good morning. This was a good spot, sort of. I didn't expect really any vehicles, but up here I saw one checking me out last night. Another one up there stopped and backed up to get a better view. And then this morning there was another truck here that stopped and didn't say anything, but I better hoof it on out of here. Yep, we'll be next to the freeway again today. And the goal right now is to get into Colfax. We got to stock up for a few days. And that's what I got to do. Look at that. Steamy morning. That's always an interesting sight. You know, that's not a hot spring or anything. It's always an interesting sight just to see the sun make that dew on the grass evaporate. Huh. So I'm in a spot coming up to Sleepy Hollow. And then after that, I think another hour or so into Colfax. And then after that, I think it's only another 9 miles to where I'm supposed to camp. Hopefully, not looking suspicious. And that'll make today 16 miles. And then I think I'm going to drop it back the next few days down to 12 to 13 as a plan. Just because I don't know what's ahead as far as snow, mud, rain, things like that. But if I make more, then that's good. Then I'll get ahead of schedule. Welcome to Colfax, California. So look at that, 144 to San Francisco, and then I had some mileage on top of that. So I guess I've gone 160 maybe. And then 642 to Ogden, Utah. And little train museum here and visitor center. And I'll show you the downtown stuff here too, and tell you a little bit about Colfax. Howdy!
Yo, what's up? You got a YouTube channel?
That's funny. Maybe a couple new viewers now. But Colfax, let me tell you this before I show you downtown. Colfax, and something else too. Colfax started in the 1840s. It's just kind of a little settlement area that catered to the ranchers in the area for them getting supplies. Then it really took off in the 1860s when the Transcontinental Railroad was being built. This was the main spot for the eastern part of the building going east. And then later on, well then of course then the settlers came through here, so Donner Pass is up there, and they eventually made their way west over this way. And then later on, you know, the automobile started doing its thing, and so the Lincoln Highway came right through town here, and then the rest is history, so to speak. Hey, there's an old ambulance there. I wonder if somebody's living in it. But this is the old main street of Colfax, and it's kept its little charm. It's a nice, clean little community. You can see up there. I talked to the guy over at the visitor center, and he said that there's people coming through here pretty much all year. I guess because, you know, it's a busy route. Interstate 80 is just right over there. So people going to and from San Francisco to Reno, Nevada, all that sort of stuff. But what I wanted to tell you about, though, so see ya. I must be a celebrity here. Been stopped by all these people. Hey, are you a YouTuber? I just met some teacher and some students from the Weimar Institute. Had a nice little chat, nice little prayer. Thank you very much. Now, what was I saying? So, Colfax just kind of developed, you know, from the ranching stuff to the railroad, which gave the jump start. The settlers coming through after Donner Pass, the Lincoln Highway that was coming through here, and now Interstate 80 that just brings all the people through. But all the people have been nice. And then the other thing I wanted to mention as well is I met a guy named Larry. And interesting story is that Larry lives here now. He was telling me about how he, I think in 2000, was it 2000, Larry, or 2002? He wanted to go to his 40th high school reunion. And so instead of driving there, because his wife had hiked the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, he said, well, I'm going to do a long hike. So he hiked from Albuquerque. I think that's where he was living then. Is that right, Larry, if you're watching? He hiked from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Munising, Minnesota, 2,000 miles. And coincidentally, if you remember on the second walk, we went through Munising, Michigan, and met Pashiki Pete and all those characters. So we had a good little chat. And now, let's see, I need to get water, and they told me where to get it. I've got 9 miles to go, and it's already after 3 o'clock. You think I'm going to make it? Well, I certainly won't make it before dark. Oh, and something else I found out. Blah, blah, blah. I talked to a CHP guy while I was here in Colfax. And because I was looking ahead, you know, I've got some dirt roads up there and some kind of bushwhacking spots, and then also walking the train tracks type of thing. And then there's I hear there's a bunch of snow up there on the top. So I asked the CHP guy, hey, are you allowed to walk the interstate anywhere around here? And he said, well, by the way, you can walk from Baxter to Cisco Grove. So I think I'm going to be walking on the interstate here in a couple days. It will only cut off about a couple miles, but it'll cut off a lot of effort, because in those 18 miles I'll be walking the interstate, I think there's going to be there would have been a lot of snow, mud, stuff that I have to contend with. So anyway, that's the deal for that. Now, I got to find water. I got to find water for a day and a half. And instead of blabbing, I think I'm gonna go look for it. Colfax, California, come and see it. You ought to, you should, you better. Here's a pretty sight. It's called Rawlins Reservoir, and it's not as small as you think. It actually goes around that bend and then around that side as well. Peaceful, placid, nice day before the rain and snow coming in 2 days. Right. Well, back to our old friend, Interstate 80, huh? I'm actually, I got a spot picked out ahead. It's probably got a vantage point like this. Guess it'll be an okay view, but kind of noisy. It's funny how eating a little bit more food gives you a little bit more pop. Funny how that works. Today will have been a little over 16 miles. But the reason why it's so late again is because of Colfax. That's not a bad thing, but I think I probably spent 4 hours there. So I think we're gonna, again, it's another race against the sun, just like last night. I think I'll pull in after sunset, but this spot, I don't think there's going to be any danger of people driving by and wondering, oh, what's going on over there? Good morning. Pretty nice camp here. It was nice and soft with the pine duff. This is probably the coziest camp I've had so far. In fact, so cozy I've just been laying around here. Of course, I had the noise a lot last night from the interstate right behind me, but now that the sun's starting to filter through here, I guess it'll get my lazy bones up to start to get going. I only have 14 miles today, and part of that's walking on the freeway. How many calls will the CHP get? Hey, there's a guy walking on the freeway. Let's see what happens, huh? All right, time to get up. Something interesting about trains these days, as far as I'm concerned anyway. You know, back when I was growing up, most of a train was consisted of boxcars, right? And in fact, in the old days, that was the favorite car for people to hop the rails, provided protection from the elements and everything. Now, you know, the trains mostly consist of the flat cars with the yeah, same to you. With the containers on them, and they're not as comfortable for those, you know, riding the rails still these days. Hey, Baz, if you're watching, thinking about you. You know, you're in the elements, you're in the wind, and all that sort of stuff. In fact, take a look at Chris's video when he was on his way to the Florida Trail. His channel is Adventures with the Crazy Vet. Adventures with the Crazy Vet, and you'll get kind of a sort of a feel how really rough and tumble it is riding the rails these days. So it looks like this tree here is hanging on for dear life. How long will it make it? It's got a nice view. Just a lazy little day. Walking through the little community of Alta. Or Alta, however they pronounce it here. About a mile and a half or so, start walking on the freeway. So put down in the comments how many people you think are going to call 911 about some crazy guy with a big brown hat and a backpack. Oh, 2 miles. Walking on the freeway. All right, and here we go. This will be an interesting experience.